Janet Smith. Something really struck me during your interview with Bree Mood. She said she went to Mission Renaissance for school in the Valley. I lived in LA for about 6 years, and during that time, my close friend and roommate got an art teaching job there in the Valley. She had no prior Scientology experience. I remember telling me after her first week that she was being taught how to communicate with small children, that she had to explain every facet of what she was referencing so they would truly understand. I thought that was strange since, they're children. Usually we limit language so they understand. The other thing was she had to use different words in almost a different language. I thought it was so odd, but she really loved it there, and after a while talked about the Scientology side less and less. Fast forward 10 years later, I moved back to the Midwest, and she's still my friend on Facebook. I see glimpses of her life, and she's still working at Mission Renaissance. She shows awards she wins and how much she loves it there. I've always wondered about that school and if you're required to be a Scientologist after a while. And Bree's insight made me think about the students. Do all of the parents realize Scientology runs them? Is this school like a Catholic school where you don't have to be Catholic to go there? Or is it a facade and a feeder institution to get people in Scientology? Okay, Janet, good question here. And I wish I had more specific information about Mission Renaissance specifically. So there's some things I'm not going to be able to answer in terms of what you're asking me. But here's what I took this question up, though, is because I wanted to specifically address this business about the kids and also about the Scientology feeder lines. Any organization that a Scientologist is in is a Scientology feeder line. Okay, but if it's run by Scientologists, it's a guaranteed way of trying to get people into Scientology. No question about it. None. Okay? And Mission Renaissance is a Scientology-based school that uses Hubbard techniques and methods, as I've laid out on my channel here. These methods are destructive to education and are not good for kids, and I hope that that information can somehow be gotten to those people because they should know that going to a Scientology school is not necessarily in your child's best interests. There are good things there, but there are way, way, way more not good things, especially with Hubbard's teaching methods, as I've described in detail. So we won't have to revisit all of that. But you asked, do all the parents realize Scientology runs them? Well, if they do their due diligence, they do. And if they ask any kind of questions about Hubbard or Scientology, it'll probably come up. I'm pretty sure that the school officials and administrators would probably distance themselves from the Church of Scientology and instead would emphasize that they use Hubbard's methods for education and not Scientology. And in their minds, they actually differentiate these as two different things, even though an objective view would show that they are the exact same thing. In a Scientology academy, you have to look up all your words that you don't fully understand. And by you don't fully understand, what we mean by that is if I ask you, what's the definition of this word in this context, and you can't tell me immediately and at once, you don't understand that word. That's the standard that Scientology arbitrarily imposes as to whether you understand something or not. Keep that in mind because Hubbard's methods are completely arbitrary. There is no authority on education that gave Hubbard the tablets with the 10 Commandments of education. And this standard of understanding can act as a false standard because it is completely acceptable to understand words and concepts through context without being able to actually say, this is the dictionary definition of this word in this context, you see. We understand almost all of grammar this way, which is actually kind of funny because that's why one of the reasons why it's so difficult to teach grammar is because you kind of already have this native sort of understanding of how it and what it's doing. So when people describe what it's doing and give definitions to these words, that's why they have so many definitions. I mean, if you look up the word to, T-O, in a dictionary, holy cow, because it has all these uses, All right, anyway. So it's up to the parents to do their due diligence, but I don't believe that Mission Renaissance hides the fact that they are affiliated with Scientology, but I do believe that they will push that it's not Scientology they're doing, it's Hubbard's methods. And they, like I said, they think that's different. As far as whether somebody has to be a Scientologist in order to go to the school, I'm not aware that that would have to be the case. I know for a fact it's not that way up at Delphi in Oregon, and there is a Delphi in Los Angeles. I imagine the same rules apply for Mission Renaissance, that anyone can go there. It is a private school, so I guess they can be discriminatory if they wanted to be, but I don't think they are because, frankly, I think they need all the money they can get from all the students that they can possibly round up from anywhere. But as far as that feeder line thing goes, I just want to re-stress that anywhere you find Scientologists working, especially in groups, Scientologist owns the company, Scientologist has anything to do with the company, they're going to be interested in making you into a Scientologist. If you express any degree of interest, any questions, ooh, what's that about? They're going to think you're a hot prospect and they're going to be all over you and they're going to try to convert you because that's what they do. Actually, I should clarify that unless they are a closet Scientologist, and in this day and age, I think it's easier and easier to be a closet Scientologist. But specifically, when you go into one of these organizations, you're gonna see it, and you're gonna get proselytized too. So there you go.